is Tuesday. It is November 13th. What is going on? Are you guys ready for another episode of VR 3333-666-5555555? Yes, it is VR 365. This is our daily live stream where basically we cover news, we cover notes, we do reviews, kind of mini reviews, we do previews, first impressions, all of those sorts of things. So before we get started today, you want to go ahead and subscribe to the show. Why not? Go ahead and hit the bell button, the like button. Actually, you can dislike this if you want as well. That is perfectly fine too. As long as you have a take in one direction or another, that is a great thing. And you know what? Today might be a show that you do want to hit the dislike button, because this is going to be one of our famous shit shows. Okay, so what is a shit show? Let's say you are a new viewer to the program and you're like, what is this shit show that everybody talks about? Well, basically it works like this. If I don't have something prepared, it is called a shit show. It basically means I'm kind of scrambling from the seat of my pants, trying to put a show together at the last possible second with zero preparation. That's what we call a shit show. Or sometimes there just is no news. There's like no real news stories to go with. Lots of different reasons that we could possibly have a shit show. So yeah, that is what we're doing today, because like I said, we really don't have much news, at least not any news that I really saw, that like nothing that jumped out. Although honestly, I took possibly 5 minutes to maybe look at news, so wasn't exactly spending copious amounts of time looking for news, but it is what it is. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's see, what did I want to get into? Okay, let me turn down this volume a little bit. I got a trailer running in the background. And what could we get into today? Well, I do have a couple of trailers that we could get into. That's really pretty much all I got. And then we could check the various websites, see what the latest news stories are. We could check the subreddits as well. And then, of course, people over here in chat. Yes, we do have a chat window, and chat is supposed to be a big part of the program. And I probably should look at chat a little bit more. And Tezram said, who hit the dislike button? Look, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. If we have 300 dislikes and 1 like, that's better than 40 likes and no dislikes. It actually is. I think for YouTube, I think it's a big thing for YouTube, right? The more you're into something, the bigger of a deal it is, right? So anyway, I do have a couple of trailers that we can get into, and we'll be checking back on chat as well and doing that as well. Lots of people still talking about the $299 Odyssey Plus. That really resonated out there. I think a lot of... I just feel like there is a momentum that is going on that is kind of bubbling under the surface. I think a lot of us, we grabbed an HTC Vive early in the life cycle of the HTC Vive. We grabbed Oculus Rifts relatively early in the life cycle of Oculus Rifts. We've had these headsets for a while. I don't know why my trailer just stopped like that. That's kind of unusual. Let me switch up to a different trailer. But we've grabbed these headsets. We've had these headsets for quite some time. And now we're starting to get itchy. We're starting to get a little bit itchy. We kind of want something new to tickle our fancy. We want a new headset. We want some new excitement. And so I think that is why there's quite a bit of hype that is going on behind the scenes with this Odyssey Plus. A lot of people are kind of into that, because when you first heard about the Odyssey Plus, $500, and now all of a sudden it's $300. I mean, that is a major freaking switch. We've also had a couple of people I've seen in some various threads in different forums out there. Some people are wondering, is this a bad sign? Like, is this a really, really bad sign that Samsung has only had this headset out for a matter of a couple of weeks and they're already slashing the price 40% off? Is this a plan? Did they have a plan to do this? Or is this a reaction to absolute awful sales on their initial rollout of the Odyssey Plus, and they're kind of in panic mode. So there's a lot of questions out there as well. We might be able to get into that if we have to. Andrew Rogers is checking in, and he said, I wanted to play From Other Suns, but can't find games to join, just me or no one playing. Did you play it over the free weekend? Because I would imagine there were a lot of people in there, I would think, over the free weekend. I think that would be a pretty popular thing. I liked From Other Suns, actually. I was a fan of it. But the thing is, I didn't play it this last weekend. And part of the reason is it's on, I can't remember. Oh, you know what? I deleted it. I deleted it off one of my hard drives. This is when I was running out of space. Has anybody ever been in this situation where you start running out of space on your hard drive, and then you start looking at the games that you have, and you start looking at how many gigs they are, and you start making decisions based on how many gigs a certain game is? And so you might see a game like LA Noire or Payday 2 VR, and it's like, holy moly, this thing is like 30 gigs. And then there's another game that is barely a gig or like half of a gig. And so I don't know, is anybody else like me? If you're kind of running out of hard drive space, sometimes you have to make hard decisions. I kicked Payday 2 to the curb. I kicked LA Noire to the curb because they were these gigantic ass files, and I was running out of some hard drive space there. Of course, with Black Friday coming up, Black Friday is coming up very soon, and there's a lot of deals out there for SSDs. So if you've been looking to get like a 1 terabyte Samsung SSD, there are some great deals out there, and you can grab one of those, throw those into your PC, and then have a lot more extra space. You don't have to delete as many games. Of course, I'm in a situation, I'm adding games like every other day to sample these games, and so new games are constantly coming in, and it's eating up all of my hard drive space. Okay. There were a couple of minor games that I do have trailers for, and I thought, why not? We can go ahead and check out a couple of these trailers. Okay, so the first one I have is called Animal Force. Now, I believe this has been on PlayStation VR for a little while, but it's about to make its way over to Steam, and it will be available for Oculus Rift and HTC Vive players, Windows Mixed Reality as well. So why don't we go ahead and check out this trailer? It's pretty short. Let's go ahead and check it out. Yeah, almost left myself on mute. And then the other thing I did, okay, so the trailer is right. This has the right size over here, or pretty close to the right size. And then on my full screen trailer window, I forgot and had it switched to another side. The shit show continues, ladies and gentlemen. Just when you think production values have been increased, they really haven't. Just when you think production values have been increased slightly, they haven't really been increased slightly. Okay, let's do that trailer one more time, because I want to do that trailer one more time. Let's do it. All right, so yeah, that is Animal Force. Had to run it one extra time just to get it done right. And so this game here, don't really know much about it. Didn't hear much about it on PlayStation VR, but this is another game that is coming to us in November. Looks very whimsical, very colorful. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Steam page. Here is the Steam page for Animal Force. It is coming on November 23rd. The developer is ISVR, publisher is ISVR. The game will unlock in about 9 days. And it says, there is no dizzy, no horror, no zombies, and no guns. Animal Force is a happy and funny game for all age game players. This game includes single player mode and 3 local multiplayer modes. And I really know jack about this game. I don't really know anything about this game, but I did see it on a website. And as a relatively new game that is coming soon, so just wanted to preview Animal Force real quick. Okay, so I have another trailer that is very similar, another game that is not hyped either, and I think this game is actually already available. Now, this one's a little bit more interesting, because do you guys remember the story that we heard about Angry Birds VR coming to the arcades, and we've seen Angry Birds come to Magic Leap, and we don't know that we're going to have Angry Birds VR available for our Oculus Rift or for our HTC Vive or Windows Mixed Reality. But if you want something very, very similar, there is something called VR Furballs. So let's go ahead and check out the VR Furballs trailer. This is it right here. All right, so that is VR Furballs, and if you're watching this trailer at all, it definitely is very much Angry Birds VR. Very, very similar. You can see the slingshot mechanics, very colorful levels. And you know what? I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys are looking at this and you're like, really? Why are we talking about this kind of crap? This is a waste of time. But you know what? Some of us have children. Some of us have these little miniature versions of ourselves that we like to entertain from time to time. And some of these children, we don't really want to put them in our expensive VR headsets, but some of us do it any damn way. Because if you've ever been in Rec Room, if you've ever been in Echo Combat, you're going to hear some children crying and yelling and screaming and asking for mom to make them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich as they're playing their games. And we do need some games that are for the kiddies, and this kind of looks like one. Very colorful, very bright, very cheerful. It is called VR Furballs Demolition, and it is very much Angry Birds-esque. And we can go ahead and switch over here to the Steam page. This is VR Furballs Demolition, and there's a free demo. There's a free demo. Why didn't I try this last night? Because I wasn't paying attention. There is a free demo. I should have tried it. Shame on me. Now, how much is VR Furballs? Well, it's going for $15, but it does have a pretty banging promotion to start it off. It is dropping 35% in its retail offering, down to $9.74. Now, this expires on November 16th. You know, my take with these kind of games, okay, so it's actually got quite a few reviews. Look at this, very positive. 55 reviews. This came out on November 9th, so it's been out for a handful of days now. But that's actually pretty good. When you consider indie games in VR, that's actually pretty good that it has that many reviews, and the reviews are very positive. This could be a fun game. You know, I probably should get in there and try the demo. I'm not sure if anybody in chat has tried this demo out, but I don't mind a game like this every now and then. I think sometimes we need what I call a palate cleansing kind of a game. You know, you're jumping in games like Fallout 4 VR. You're jumping in games like Skyrim, Transference, Windlands 2, Vox Machina. You're jumping in all these primetime, serious kind of games. And every once in a while, you do need a palate cleanser. You do need something bright and cheerful with rainbows and sunshine and happy music. And also, we do have kids, we have girlfriends, we have wives, and sometimes you want a game that you can throw them into where it's very simple, it's very easy. You can say, look, this is Angry Birds in VR. It's basically Angry Birds in VR. Everybody understands Angry Birds. Pretty much everybody on planet Earth has played Angry Birds at one point or another. So you can throw them in a game like this. Not a bad idea. So those are the two games that I had for you. That's basically what I got. Now the shotgun chamber is empty. There's nothing else. I just blew my wad. These are the two big games, and but we can kind of consider that we do need changes of pace, and we do need games that appeal to a lot of different demographics, a lot of different age groups as well. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce back over here to chat. Let's see what people are talking about. Still a lot of Odyssey talk. Rudel Zavedno. 300 for Odyssey is a steal. I'm tempted to import it from the US. It would cost near 500 though, but I think it's still worth it. But what about the controllers, Rudel? What about the controllers? And I Am Rutz says, okay, I'm sold. What an amazing waste of a game. I Am Rutz is pretty easily sold on stuff. Has anybody else noticed that? Paradise Decay says, I've had this in my library for ages. Still not got around to play it. And let's see, still some kind of back and forth about Odyssey and that kind of thing. Okay, Dr. Freeman. Dr. Freeman, I presume, is checking in. Half-Life VR with J.J. Abrams' input and help. Makes sense after their 2013 announcement of making a Half-Life movie. Okay, I haven't heard anything about this, about any kind of a J.J. Abrams thing, but that is kind of interesting. And I Am Rhett says, I have not tried this, but I will check out the demo. Nothing to lose. Yeah, I like demos. I'm a big fan of demos. And it's kind of amazing because I don't pay attention to demos as much as I did. But in the early days of VR, when I first got my HTC Vive, I was all about the demos, that there's so much free goodness out there. In fact, I can't remember who it was. Actually, you know what? I think it's Tezrim. Tezrim has been in our Discord server, okay? So we do have a VR365 Discord server. Everyone is invited to jump into our Discord server and say hi and chat. We have a couple of different channels that you can bounce into to kind of talk to some of the other people that watch this show. And Tezrim was in one of these discussions, and I think he mentioned that he only has 3 VR games. Okay, there we are. Tezrim is checking in. Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, Tezrim, but I think you mentioned you only have 3 VR games. And everybody else was like in total shock. Like, oh my God, you've only got 3 VR games. What are you doing? But the thing is, there's so much free goodness out there. There is a lot of really good stuff, a lot of free experiences, a lot of stuff that we can try out. Lots of good stuff that you can get into. And so you don't necessarily need to have a gigantic library of games if you're paying attention to these demos. Now, I forgot about the demos for a long time and haven't checked into demos very often, but VR Furballs is definitely on my list. And see, here it is. Kev Gret, 3 games? Seriously? What is going on here, Tezrim? Yeah, he does. I don't know, he, she. I assume most of you guys are he's. I know there are some she's that watch this program, but I don't mean to offend anybody by calling you a he or a guy or something like that. Hopefully everybody understands that. But yeah, Tezrim, 3 games. I don't think that's a big deal. Probably new to the VR party to some degree. Paul Smith says, I have about 300 games. And MameFan, yeah, MameFan has like 600 games or something. MameFan is straight up addicted buying VR games left and right. But there are these demos. We have to remember the demos. Okay, what else did we want to get into now? Well, you know what? We can check out some of the stories that are showing up on these different websites, of course. That's one thing that we can do. And why don't we go ahead and bounce over to Road to VR? So I'm switching over here to Road to VR, and this is one of the news stories that happened yesterday. And I wanted to bring this up because I actually was able to try this yesterday. I actually tried this out. YouTube VR has finally come to the Oculus Go. It is now available for Oculus Go owners. And this is something that a lot of Oculus Go people have been crying for quite some time. It's really nice to have YouTube on your Oculus Go for a number of different reasons. First of all, how convenient is it, especially as we're now getting into winter and it's starting to get colder, and some of us like to snuggle up on our sofa or a nice lazy boy, you know, and we have a cover wrapped around us and we kind of just snuggle up into a ball. Does anybody else do that? I do that on occasion. I will straight up admit it. And how cool is it that we can have something like the Oculus Go with no wires, completely wire-free, standalone VR headset that has great optics and can do a lot of video things very, very well. And so you could have that Oculus Go sitting right next to you. You throw it on, you stay nice in your covers, you're wrapped up, and now you have the ability to see anything that's on YouTube, including this show. And you can also see, of course, 360 videos, 180 videos, and all kinds of other stuff. I mean, basically anything that is available on YouTube is now also available on your Oculus Go through this app, and it works really good. So I downloaded this yesterday. You know, the other nice thing about it too, it is a really tiny file. So when you download it, it doesn't take up a lot of space on your Oculus Go, which is very prime because some of us have the cheapo model, 32 gigs. We don't have a lot of storage space. And so if this app was like 2 gigs or something, or even a gig, it's kind of painful, but it's a very small app. So I went ahead, I downloaded YouTube VR, and I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to our regular scene here. And I should probably, let me see if I can find a little Oculus Go trailer. I'll throw that on the screen real quick, and then we can talk about this. Just going to take a sec here. Oculus Go. Okay, where is some Oculus Go stuff? I'll just grab this one. I don't know what's on here, but we'll grab this one. Okay, I think this is the Engadget one for Oculus Go. Okay, yeah, so I went ahead and I grabbed the YouTube app. And when I first got in there, I figured, well, why don't I check out some 360 videos, check out some 180 videos, because I do have a VR headset on my head, might as well do that. And I tried a number of videos that they actually have special areas within YouTube that have a number of 360 videos and a number of 180 videos that have been curated to a degree where a lot of people find them entertaining. I tried a surfing one that was pretty good. These guys were surfing, and I'm looking all around, you know, I'm seeing the waves and I'm seeing the ocean, and I'm like looking down and I'm seeing this guy, he's standing on his surfboard, and you kind of see his legs wobbling around, and the water and everything is really cool looking. I tried that. That was a 360 one. I tried this one that was New York, and it was showing the city of New York, and it was like up in a helicopter, kind of giving you the skyline and the Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan and Times Square, and kind of giving you all these views of New York. That was pretty good. And I tried a number of 180 videos. I actually tried this one 180 video. It was like Cirque del Soleil, you know, the Cirque du Soleil. Man, I cannot pronounce that. Cirque du Soleil, something like that. You know, Las Vegas, the thing where there's people on, people doing gymnastics and hanging from suspensions and all of that stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I tried one of those videos. It was a 180 degree video, and it was really crystal clear. I mean, I thought the video quality was really good. There were some people talking. I really felt like they were kind of right there in the room with me. I really like 180. I think 180 is the better way to go. You don't really need to turn all the way around and be, looking all behind you. 360 is way overrated. I think 180 is kind of the way to go. I enjoyed myself with both of those videos that I tried. And then I thought, well, you know what? Why don't I check out my own show? Let me check out my own show in this YouTube app on the Oculus Go. And so I fired up the most recent episode, yesterday's episode, to kind of check out my new background and chat and all of that and see how that looked. Looked pretty damn good. You can watch it from a good distance. There are different options that you have where you can kind of move further back. You can kind of change the view of it. And so I thought it was pretty good. So I think it's a very good idea. If you do have an Oculus Go, definitely go ahead and grab that YouTube app and check it out. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that is one news story that we can kind of comment on. Let's see if anybody else in chat tried YouTube VR. Let's see. Push the Button said, had problem to scroll in the YouTube VR. And I Am Rhett says, you can watch Anthony's show in VR. Yeah, technically. Yep. Hussein X says, YouTube VR, you swipe touchpad to scroll. And Push the Button said, yeah, that didn't help. I did have a little bit, didn't get used to how do you back out of a video without backing out of the app completely? How do you just go back to, how do you just rewind a little bit? I didn't get very used to the controls, but I imagine it's just a matter of learning it. So I don't think the controls are that borked. I just think it's a matter of learning it probably. And Sparhawk, which that's a new name that I haven't seen too often, I don't think. Sparhawk says, stretch out on the sofa and watch video on the ceiling. Yeah, I mean, it's nice sometimes you can lay in bed with your Oculus Go and you could watch Netflix. I mean, a lot of us have done that. How many people here have watched Netflix in their Oculus Go? If you happen to have an Oculus Go, you've probably done it. I mean, think about this. You could be on vacation, and I know a lot of people have done this. You're on vacation. You're staying in a hotel with your wife and your kids. And when you're on vacation, and you're in a hotel room that is usually pretty small. You got your beds right there, the bathrooms right there. You don't have much else. So everybody else is in the same shared space. And your wife might be watching some show on TV that you're not interested in. Your kids might be screwing around with their phones or something, and it's kind of loud and irritating. Well, you can go ahead and grab your Oculus Go, throw that on, a good pair of headphones, you throw that on, and you can kind of just remove yourself from the equation and kind of dial into your own little private space, and you could watch something on Netflix or YouTube. I think it's incredibly convenient. Yeah, you're kind of escaping from reality and you're kind of shutting yourself off from reality, but sometimes that is a wonderful thing. Sometimes that is an amazing thing. And then also, if you're driving somewhere really far in your car and you've got kids, imagine handing them an Oculus Go headset into the back seat and they could watch something on YouTube or on Netflix with their headphones and your kids basically disappear. And you can get a little peace and quiet as you're driving to your destination. So that is always nice as well. So that is YouTube on the Oculus Go. Okay, let's bounce back over to Road to VR. Creed Rise to Glory to get first free content update this month. Are you guys playing Creed Rise to Glory? I got to admit, the game is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with Creed. In fact, it is a very well done game. But I have not felt the desire to go back into this game. Now, part of the reason is maybe I just took a shower or something and I'm not looking to get sweaty, because if you really get into Creed, you are going to get a little bit sweaty. So I feel like Creed's kind of one of these exercise games where if I'm not in an exercising kind of a mood, I tend to avoid it. But yeah, it is going to get some free content coming, update later this month. So that is good news. Let's see. Fire investigators are now using VR photogrammetry tech to assess damage to homes. That's kind of interesting. That's something I never would have thought about in terms of a usage for VR. Oculus has launched this referral program. I did hear about that. Oh, PSVR Arena Brawler Megalith heads into open beta today. Gameplay trailer here. You know what? I should grab that gameplay trailer. I don't have that gameplay trailer yet. So let me go ahead and switch back to standard mode. And yeah, we might as well I'll grab the gameplay trailer for Megalith. Forgot about that. But yeah, Megalith is the open beta today. Now, I've said it already. I'm not really a MOBA guy. But despite that, I feel like it's, might as well, right? Might as well, let me go ahead and grab this trailer here. Might as well get in there and check it out. Fire up ye old PlayStation and go ahead and jump into this beta and check it out. So I will probably do that. Getting that going there. Okay, let's go back over here to chat, see what people are saying. Push the Button says 180-degree 3D stereoscopic video is best. And that is absolutely true. And that was the Cirque du Soleil video that I did see. It was 180 degrees. It was 3D stereoscopic, and it was clean and crisp. I did like that. I Am Rhett says, no chat yesterday, though, Anthony. For those watching after, only on the actual video. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. Like the chat replay, is that something I need to do on my end? Or is it something where maybe I don't have the privileges yet because it's a new channel? I'm not sure why it's not showing chat over there. That's something I need to figure out after the show and try to get that fixed, try to get that sorted out. Main Fan says the Steam YouTube VR is sort of hard to control as well. Phil Yarn says, I really wish I would have picked up that Star Trek thing before they took it down. And Push the Button says you can watch adult movies besides your sleeping partner. That is a little sketch. Push the Button. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, why don't you involve your partner as well? That's a possibility. We don't want to go down that road though, do we? Okay, I Am Rhett says, I've watched this show in the Rift before. Sometimes I'll put up a window from Dash and have it pinned to the right side. Okay, so some people have actually watched this show in a VR headset, which is kind of, that's the future, right? We are living in the future. Okay, so I did grab this trailer for Megalith, the open beta gameplay reveal. So why don't we go ahead and grab this trailer and check it out? And let's see if I can find it here. Megalith, where are ye? Here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this trailer out. All right, that is Megalith, and there is an open beta, and you can jump in there today. Graphically, it does look pretty good. I got to say, from a graphic standpoint, it looks pretty nice. But one of the things about these games, like one of the reasons I'm not really into a MOBA, is as you continue to watch this video, it really starts to get pretty chaotic. This kind of a game, there's a lot going on. There's a lot you have to pay attention to. And then you've got other people in the game as well. You got to stay in your lane, right? I don't know any of this MOBA shit, but people always talk about being in different lanes and all of this. And like, you got to have the teamwork and everything. And I don't know, for me, these games can be a bit chaotic for me. But I'll try the open beta. Might as well, get in there, check it out, see what it's all about. Disruptive Games is a pretty solid developer, and that is Megalith for PlayStation VR. So certainly need to hop in there today and give it a look-see. All right, let's see. What else can we do? Well, we can, of course, bounce over to UploadVR and see what they've got going on. Let me go ahead and give it a refresh real quick before we bounce over there. Okay, let me go ahead and bounce over now. So over here in UploadVR, they say Until Dawn, Bravo Team devs are working with Sony on several PlayStation exclusives. So we're talking about Supermassive Games, right? So Supermassive Games is working on several PlayStation exclusives. Hopefully they are PlayStation VR exclusives. I don't know if we know yet. One of the topics they have, you should definitely buy a PlayStation VR this Black Friday. Well, if you have a PlayStation 4, yeah, you probably should buy one. If you have a PlayStation 4 somewhere in your house, like maybe your brother has one, or maybe you have one in the living room or whatever, it's such a good bundle. It's such a good deal. The $200 deal where you get Moss and Astrobot, just to add that on so you could experience Astrobot. You could try the Megalith. You could try the Megalith open beta and all of these things that come to PlayStation VR. There are a lot of exclusives that come there. I think it's a good idea. It's tempting. Of course, everybody's being tempted by the Samsung Odyssey Plus. So, we can't buy everything, right? 10 Hearts. They say it's a charming VR puzzler. We've talked about that. And of course, In Exile Entertainment, they were acquired by Microsoft. These are the Mage's Tale guys. And one of the things I forgot to mention yesterday when we talked about this, I think it was yesterday, is the Mage's Tale, it was supposedly coming to PlayStation VR, but we haven't heard anything about it for a long time. And supposedly they are still bringing it to PlayStation VR, despite the fact they've been acquired by Microsoft. It appears that the Mage's Tale is still headed to PlayStation VR, and they don't have any news. It says, and the Mage's Tale PSVR is wrapped up, and we're working with Sony on a release date. So apparently the Mage's Tale is ready to go, but it might just need to go through cert and that type of thing, or kind of figuring out the timing there for the Mage's Tale. I was a big fan of the Mage's Tale. In fact, when the Mage's Tale first came out on Oculus Rift, it was like one of my favorite VR at that point in time. Like, I don't know what day the Mage's Tale arrived on Oculus Rift, but whatever day that was, I felt like the Mage's Tale was like one of the 5 best VR games that I had played at that point in time. Now, that was a moment in time, but it was very AAA. That was the thing about Mage's Tale that impressed me, is you had characters with voice work and really good graphics, a lot of special effects, good music and stuff. I was really impressed by the Mage's Tale. But looking back on it now, it's probably not as impressive. Like, if I played it now, I probably wouldn't be quite as impressed. It was kind of a time thing. At that time, it was quite impressive. But I think PSVR players might be interested in the Mage's Tale in that type of game, a great dungeon crawler. And it also has a lot of gameplay. Like, it's one of these games, it's not over in a couple of hours. You're not going to beat Mage's Tale in 2 or 3 hours. It takes a bit. Like, I never finished it. I never finished it. It takes a while to get through Mage's Tale. Okay, I need to switch up the trailer that I have on here, because one of the problems that I do have on this show is I leave trailers running way too long. And that's why it's nice. Like, did you guys see when I had Steve over here? When I had Steve on that episode, he can be talking and I could be switching trailers all day long. I'm going to put Fallout 76 on the screen here just because it's a trailer that I haven't thrown on in a long time. And, one of the topics we could get into is Fallout 76. It's coming out this week, right? I think it comes out tomorrow, or it comes out tonight at midnight. A lot of people are super excited about this. And some people have postulated, what are the possibilities that we could have a VR version of Fallout 76 that obviously it hasn't been announced right now, and we don't know anything about it right now, and it probably wouldn't be something that we would get until early in 2019. But is it that hard to conceive the possibilities? Because look, they've already done a lot of work getting Fallout 4 running in VR, and I got to imagine the engine that Fallout 76 is running on, it can't be that much different. Of course, one of the issues that Bethesda has to deal with, though, is it's not dialed in for VR perfectly. We know that with Fallout 4 VR. You go into these different rooms in Fallout 4 VR, and there's all these things that are sitting on tables, and there's drawers and stuff, but you don't really have any kind of hand presence there because it wasn't designed for VR. And so they could probably do the same thing with Fallout 76, but maybe people will start complaining about that and get kind of irritated by that. One of the things I've always wondered about is not so much Fallout 76, but what about Fallout 3? I want Fallout 3 in VR. Fallout 3 was one of my all-time favorite games. In fact, if I were to talk about my 10 favorite games of all time, Fallout 3 would be in my top 10. I'm talking all time. I'm talking Super Mario World. I'm talking Zelda Link to the Past. I'm talking about some of the greatest. I'm talking about Wipeout VR, baby. No, but I'm talking about some of the greatest games ever. And Fallout 3 was one of those games for me. And Fallout 4 works so good. Like, why can't they just adapt Fallout 3 to that Fallout 4 engine? Why don't we have it this November? Like, why aren't we getting excited for Fallout 3 VR? Like, I'm sure a lot of people would want to run through that entire game in VR, even without hand presence, even without it being very dialed in. I think it would still be pretty cool. So let's see what folks are talking about in chat. Kev Gretz says Fallout 76 is garbage. Mark my words. I don't know that Fallout and garbage belong in the same sentence. I don't know that there's been anything Fallout that is garbage. It might be a slight disappointment. I'm sure that could be a possibility. I can tell you my kids are very excited about Fallout 76. My two sons, I believe they're going to be playing this tomorrow. This is one of the games they've been waiting on for a long time, so they're going to be super hyped into that. Tezram said, LOL, Fallout 76 will never run in VR. LOL, roll on the floor, laugh my bleep off. Blah, blah, blah. Kev Gretz says, Fallout 76 can't even run on PCs. How can they get it on VR? Okay, well, I agree with you guys. So Fallout 3, New Vegas, those can run, right? I would love those to be able to run in VR, and I'd love to play that in VR. It's hard for me to go back to Fallout 4 VR, though, truthfully, because I've got to jump in the Megalith beta. I've got to try VR Furballs, the demo. I got to report on stuff tomorrow. I can't just live in Fallout 4 like I'd like to live in Fallout 4. But let's see. We can go back to some of these news stories here. That's pretty much what they had on UploadVR. I guess we could check the subreddits real quick. See, this is what we call a shit show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a shit show, but have you noticed it's not that horrible? It's amazing how I'm able to take literal dog crap and make it into a nice warm slice of hot apple pie with a little ice cream a la mode. You know, it's pretty incredible how I can do that. And why don't we do this as well? Let's take a pause for a second here. Everybody pause, hit the like button, subscribe to the show, hit the bell, all those kinds of things. I got to do this stuff, guys. I got to do this stuff. It's kind of out of my wheelhouse, but I got to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and bounce over to the Vive subreddit and see what kind of things are popping off. Okay, over here it says Dream, real-time VR collaboration, now available for Vive and Steam. Haven't heard of that. I've heard of Dreams, of course. Scanner Sombre is a unique game worth playing and is $1.49 for the next 23 hours. That's actually a pretty darn good deal. Yeah, Scanner Sombre is very weird and very colorful. It's an interesting game to be sure. And for $1.49, I mean, that's nothing, right? Latest Knuckles firmware. Okay, yeah, this is, excuse me. This is something I did read about yesterday, and there's 239 comments here, and this is kind of interesting, but it's kind of like diving into the weeds a little bit. Okay, so in this new Vive headset, Now, there's a chip that can be seen in the middle of the leaked PCB. And so I think if I click on this, we'll get the picture here. Yeah, this is a picture. Beautiful, nice picture, such high resolution. That was one of the beautiful things about this leak. So we see this little chip right here, and you zoom in, and you can see ANX 767530 or whatever, slim port TM, like there it is. They can see that chip. They see it right there. They've recognized that chip. And one of the things that's interesting about that, so that is the Analogics ANX 7530. And then if you kind of data mine the recent Knuckles firmware update, there's references to this all over. So see it, it's right here, all these different references, ANX 7530 offset, ANX 7530 ID. So this really does add a lot of extra confirmation to the fact that this is it's definitely a Valve HMD in some kind of fashion. This is something that is being worked on behind the scenes. So this is more corroboration, and we really got to hope that we're going to get some news soon. But the problem is it's Valve time, man. It could be a year before we find out anything about this, but we got to hope that there is another shoe that is going to drop very, very soon on that. Shadow VR, did this actually release? That's kind of a good question, because I remember it was supposed to release worldwide on November 11th, right? For $399. Let me click in here, and it says, after taking a look at their webpage, I have 2 thoughts so far. We won't know for 7 to 15 business days if it officially did release, because that's how long it'll take you to get it. And they make a point to only show 1 controller at a time. Does this thing only come with 1 controller? Okay, so some questions there. Yeah, that's Shadow VR. I don't think it's a good idea to order Shadow VR. I think you ought to just wait for an Oculus Quest next spring. In Death might have some special support for on the new NVIDIA cards, the deep level super sampling or whatever. That is a possibility. And that's pretty much it. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Did you guys see this? 2 out of the 3 major VR news and review sources have financial ties to Palmer Luckey. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting there. Reverend Kyle, like some people are talking about, they're talking about Haney 555. They're talking about Reverend Kyle. Like supposedly, I didn't know any of this stuff. And this is all speculation to a degree here, because I don't know that any of this is legit. But they're saying the current VR media landscape, Palmer Luckey bailed out UploadVR, and then UploadVR hired Haney 555 as a journalist. Is there a coincidence here? But somebody else in chat says no, that was Reverend Kyle. That they think that Palmer Luckey threw a big wheelbarrow full of money at UploadVR to keep them in business and said, but hey, you got to do me a solid and hire my boy Reverend Kyle aboard UploadVR. Some people are again, this is all speculation, so I just want to be clear about that. And then one of the owners of Tested, who make projections, one of the best VR review upcoming tech shows on YouTube, and there's no question about that. I'm a huge fan of Tested, really love that show. But one of the owners works for Palmer Luckey, I guess, or something like that. And Road to VR seems to be the only neutral dedicated VR news source that is operating at a decent scale. Yeah, VR Game Rankings is not really operating at a decent scale. We have no ties to Palmer Luckey, but you know what? If a wheelbarrow full of money was going to come my way, I don't know that I would turn a blind eye to it, or maybe I would turn a blind eye. Okay, so I'm over here on the Oculus subreddit now. Of course, they're talking about YouTube VR is now available on the Oculus Go. There is this kind of goofy little virtual reality problems. This has been upvoted. It's kind of this goofy little video here where you see, okay, somebody's sneaking into the house. This guy's wearing a VR headset. These guys are wondering, hey, can this guy see us? We're about to steal his nice, crappy, old school TV. And we're going to get out of here. And the guy's looking around. They're like, wait a minute, is this guy watching us? I don't think that's really is that a fear for you guys? Do you guys worry about when you have a VR headset on and when you're home alone, Do you worry about somebody breaking into your house, stealing things? It's not a worry for me, but I do have a dog. And one of the things I will say is it's nice to have a dog that barks at basically anybody that comes within about 20 feet of our front door. It's kind of like an alarm system. So I will be in this room here, which is my own private man cave, and I'll have my door closed and I'll be in my VR headset and everything. And like if somebody's ringing the doorbell or something, my dog will start barking like crazy and I will faintly hear my dog. And that's basically my alarm. So I don't worry about it. But I was just wondering, does anybody else have a problem with this? Because sometimes it is a little bit freaky when you're isolated like that. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and check out chat. Hussein X says, Anthony, you will make a good radio host. Maybe a radio station should offer you a paid show slot. Not a bad idea, Hussein X. So XM radio and you know, if you guys are out there, I could definitely do that. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Hey, Steve Bishop is checking in, and Steve says Palmer called Haney an insufferable fanboy. Yeah, that's why we understand that supposedly Reverend Kyle is actually the guy that Palmer got hired at UploadVR for a wheelbarrow full of money. Of course, this is all speculation and innuendo, not necessarily locked up by any stretch of the imagination. Steve Bishop says, doubt Palmer would be interested in funding Haney's employment. Yeah, it's Rev Kyle. Rev Kyle apparently is the guy. Andy Sky says, Steve, I ordered Odyssey Plus same day like you, but damn, Samsung store finally delivered on Friday. LOL. And let's see, I Am Rhett says, I have my headset set up in my master bedroom. I have my bedroom door locked when I'm in VR, so no, don't worry. Paul Smith says, I lock my door, but don't worry about being burgled. Yeah, you know what? You can't be a fear-based individual. Well, Push the Button says, gotta get a VR dog. Well, I want my dog to have a VR collar and my cat as well. And I want all VR games to be built in such a way where if your dog or cat randomly walks in your play space, like they make it a special character in the VR game. I think that would be really cool. And I honestly believe that that is going to come in the not too distant future. I really do believe that will happen. Hussein X says, Shadow VR will remain in the shadows. Focus is focusing on Enterprise in the West. Quest will have a Quest in standalone VR. Well, basically, Shadow VR is pretty much for the Chinese market, so we can't really know whether it's going to be successful or not unless we're more into the Chinese market. And I Am Rhett says, talk about an immersion breaker, Anthony. Bad dog. Yeah, there is a part of me, and this is kind of like a side rant, but there is a part of me that wants to have a soundproof room and to play VR in a soundproof room, and also to be able to have like no light in the room whatsoever. Because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if you're in VR, if you have a little bit of light that is creeping up, you know, where your nose is, you see a little bit of light there, that is an immersion breaker. If you see a little bit of light, it breaks your immersion slightly. The other thing too is if you hear somebody yelling or screaming, or you hear a dog barking, or you hear a phone ringing, or you hear a lawnmower, or any of that stuff, that is immersion breaking as well, because you start to realize, oh, I was really getting into this world. I really felt like I was in this world, and now I hear a phone ringing, or I hear a dog barking, or I hear an ambulance driving down the street or something like that. Yeah, my house is on fire. I should probably know about that. But it's immersion breaking. And I kind of want a soundproof room and a light-proof room and see, you know, how much more immersion would that add. And of course, people will say, hey, there's something called noise-canceling headphones, by the way. You could probably just do that and be able to do that pretty good. Paul Smith says, you can get killed in a soundproof room and no one can hear you scream. Well, no one can hear you scream out in space either, so, you know, it's probably not that big of a deal. Okay, should have made the jump when your wife was behind soundproofing the room years ago, Anthony. Would be a hard sell now. Yeah, there was a time, this room here, I considered soundproofing. The biggest problem with trying to soundproof a room like this, though, my ceilings. My ceilings are only 8 feet, like 8 feet and 2 inches or something, or 8 feet and an inch. Is ceilings. They're not very high. if I had a Vive wand and I kind of jumped up, I could easily scratch my ceiling. And if you're going to make a room soundproof, you're basically building another room inside a room. You know, you're basically building a room within a room, which means you got to build new walls, new floor, new ceiling, and they got to be on like shock absorber kind of things. There's all kinds of crazy shit you have to do to make a soundproof room, and it's very expensive. If you really want to do it the right way, it's incredibly expensive. And I just thought, well, I can't build another ceiling in this room. That's going to make it even lower. So I need like vaulted ceilings to kind of make a room within a room. But I still kind of want to try that one day. Okay, let's go back over here to chat real quick, and then I got to bounce out of here. Fluke says, I don't get the worry. If you worry about being burgled when in VR, what are you like when you have to go to sleep at night? Yeah, that's I call it a fear-based individual. Like my mom, I hate to say this, but my mom is a fear-based individual. She's always worrying about this could happen, this could happen, that could happen, that could happen. And I think it's a bad way to live our lives. Like, don't always be in a state of worry and concern, because what you think about, you bring about. No, that's a whole other ballgame there. But one of the things my mom does is, we live in Sacramento, California. It gets hot as can be in the summers here in Sacramento, right? And so when I'm driving my car around town, I drive to like Target or something. I'm in a shopping center, right? I park my car in the shopping center. I leave my windows cracked. Like, I could take my pinky finger and maybe get it inside the crack of my the windows, the 4 windows that I have in my car. I leave them cracked ever so slightly so it doesn't become a raging inferno inside my car. The heat isn't all trapped inside my car, and there's a little, it lets in a little bit of air. And so when I come back from the store and I get into my car, it's not 150 degrees inside my car. Now, my mom, she doesn't do that. My mom rolls the window up to the maximum because she is a fear-based individual. She'll never leave her windows cracked, ever, never, ever, because she thinks someone's going to break into her car. And like, she would never leave her purse in the trunk. She does all these kinds of things because she's worried. She's like thinking fear-based thoughts. And I'm trying to tell my mom, you got to get off of that. You got to think positivity, man. What you think about, you bring about. You got to think about positivity. You got to think about good things. Don't be a fear-based individual. And that's kind of what Fluke was bringing up right there. Like, he doesn't get the worry. So anyway, guys, this has been about an hour. And so this is kind of how we do these shit shows. I think they work out relatively well, even if we don't have news stories. It's kind of amazing. Okay, but what do we need you guys to do? Well, actually, let me get my outro logo up on the board before we bounce out of here. Get my outro logo. And where are ye? Okay, here you are. Okay, get my outro logo on the screen. That is that is our beautiful VR365 logo, which Jim Hall, again, much thanks, much praise to the great Jim Hall, who has provided this beautiful background, helped me out with this beautiful background, helped me out with chat, and everything looks so nice here. I really love that. So once again, thanks to Jim Hall out there. And everybody, again, if you could, go ahead, subscribe to the show. If you happen to be a casual watcher of this show on occasion, but you never subscribe, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell button. I don't know what the bell button does. I guess it notifies you about everything, but I always hear these other YouTubers talking about the bell button, so I guess I might as well talk about it as well. And of course, tickle the like button, or if you want, smash the dislike. If you really hate the show, smash it. I'm good. I don't care. It's all gravy as far as I'm concerned. I am not a fear-based individual. So whether you like the show or dislike it, it's all gravy. Now, if you're ambivalent, that's what kind of hurts me a little bit, if you're ambivalent. So hopefully you're not ambivalent. But anyways, I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, roughly. I know we were a little bit late today. Hopefully not a shit show. Hopefully we'll have some good stuff to talk about. I'm going to try to get into that Megalith beta, and I'm going to try that VR Furballs demo. Why not? You know, it's a free demo out there. I'm going to go ahead and try that out, see what that's like, and maybe there will be some other stuff to talk about as well. So I will see everybody tomorrow. Take it easy. Later.